Hey, JK here. I want to thank you for sharing part of your day with me. This is week 18 of the fantasy baseball season, and that means there's less than 1 month until we hit the playoffs. And I'm telling you now, some of my teams are not looking like a lock for the playoffs. But we're going to go ahead and get into it. We're going to talk about the Cheese Weasels right now. Now, last week I told you how I had 130 some odd plus points. I was in first place. I was feeling good, looking good. Well, that changed this week. I am in fourth place with 112 points. Now, I will say Blake Snell's complete game shutout helped, or did not help me, but helped other people. Just some bad games from pickups I had, so more losses, higher ERA, higher whip, stuff like that. Also, at one point in time, lost the lead for strikeouts. I've since won that. I'm losing in wins right now, so definitely some things that are frustrating. My offense has been putrid. However, I do have a few guys that have helped me. Marcell Ozuna has had 2 home runs and 4 RBIs, so that was good. Michael Garcia had 4 stolen bases. Pitching-wise, I did have 2 saves each from Ryan Finnegan and Kirby Yates, and Paul Skeens had another 10 strikeouts over the course of last week, so that was good. But we definitely had some guys who were bad. Now, the following guys have been ice cold at the plate: Ryan McMahon, Trey Turner, Lane Thomas, and Bryce Terang. That's very unfortunate because those guys have helped me so much to get to what was first place. Also had Finnegan and Gaddis blowing saves. Well, not necessarily blowing saves, but blowing leads or giving up runs in relief. And of course, that's not good. And then Kyle Harrison. Oh, what a bad start. Good Lord. And then I picked up Nick Lodolo thinking, oh yeah, it's going to be a good guy. Nope. And he only got like 5 strikeouts. So those 2 guys definitely did not help in the wins column because I always didn't get wins. They got losses and they hurt my ERA and whip. That's so bad. But let's go ahead and get to the adds and drops. We added Jeffrey Springs, Michael Wacha, Brandon Nimmo, Nick Lodolo, Kyle Harrison, and also Jose Quintana. We dropped Max Meyer, Ryan McMahon. We also picked up Ryan McMahon this current week, so heads up, that's a fun fact. Dropped Michael Wacha, Springs, Lodolo, and also Harrison. We, again, do still have time. I'm not worried about it, but it is quite concerning that in a course of a week, we dropped 4 spots. Again, definitely some categories I know I need to hit on, while, again, continuing to get wins and saves and holds and strikeouts and stuff like that. But now we're going to move to the Kent Murphy Dingers. Now, surprise, surprise, this week was another loss. I lost 2 categories to 7 categories. However, the person I lost to has been in the league as long, if not longer than I have, and I don't believe he has ever sniffed the playoffs, to be honest with you, even when it was a smaller league. So, you know what? He's in first or maybe second, this year. Good for you, man. I'm glad you're finally doing well in baseball, at least. I think you've done pretty well in football, but man, I'm happy for you. We've made some really good trades in the past. You've helped me out. Hopefully I've helped you out. I remember I sent you Merrill Kelly and you sent me Tim Anderson, I believe. So that was 2 years ago, and that sucked for me. I'm glad it's working out for you. But in any case, let's go ahead and get to the people who have done well for me. Matt Olson finally finding his stride. He's hit 3 home runs and 5 RBIs. Someone who did get some runs in, Alec Bohm, 1 home run, scored 5 runs, and had 6 RBIs. Royce Lewis, my boy, 2 home runs and 8 RBIs. That's awesome. Kirby Yates, he had 2 saves for me. You have finally come to life. And those Rangers have finally started winning some close games and not either blowing people out or losing. People who have not done well for me. Terrible starts from Luis Ortiz and Mr. Phillips. Tyler Phillips, I really had big hopes for you, and then you got dogged. And then you're starting again tonight. This is Wednesday night. So I'm looking at your stats, and you're not doing great. Talking about not doing great, Jose Altuve has been pretty cold the last month, and also Lane Thomas. Since he moved from the Nationals to the Indians, not the Guardians, the Indians, he's not done a whole lot, and that's pretty frustrating. So hopefully he'll come back to life and start stealing bases for me again. And I think last year he was hitting like 280, 290. This year he's hitting like 230. So that's not good. Let's go ahead and get to the adds and drops. We added Cade Smith, who probably gave up 3 runs from the other night. David Peterson, Jose Quintana, and Ben Joyce, who I told you to go add last week. He is the new... He should be the closer in LA, but they had Hunter Strickland there, who's best known for getting in a fight with Bryce Harper. So Ben Joyce could be or should be the guy you're looking at. Drops Trevor Meagle on the IL and no longer closing for the Brewers. Tyler Phillips, because you forgot how to hit the broadside of a barn. Kodai Senga out for the year. That was very frustrating. I thought I had a gem in him. I picked him up, stashed him on my IL for like a week. He had one decent start, and now he's out again. David Peterson and also Jake Irvin. Jake Irvin was a tough loss for my team because he pitched so well for me. I really thought I had found kind of a sleeper. And then his last month, he's forgotten how to pitch. So that's very unfortunate. So yeah, this loss, holy cow. I've still only won 4, and I've tied 2. So that means I am 4-11 and 2, 4-12 and 2. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure I have no chance of making the playoffs. And that is infuriating. Because I'm pretty sure I've made the playoffs every year I've been in this league. I've been in this league, wow, almost, I think, 10 years now. Wow. This is hurting my heart. But in any case, let's move on. Let's not sulk. We're going to move to the Funky Junky Joker Monkeys, where this week I won with a score of 386 to 357. That was much closer than it should have been. The person I was playing didn't make any changes to the lineup, and I still only won by less than 30. That was very tough. Actually, I think the guy had Miles Mikolas starting on Sunday, and I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, he could have a decent game, and he didn't. I think 4 innings, 4 earned runs, few walks, very few strikeouts. But anyway, so it didn't come back to bite me. But I was super nervous. But I won. And the people that did the best for me did include Nick Pivetta with 44, Byron Buxton with 28, Jake Flaherty with 27, and I had 5 other guys that scored between 22 and 26 points. So obviously, they came to my aid and helped me. Guys, didn't do well for me. Lane Thomas, you had 7 points for me. Jose Altuve, you only had 6 points for me. Kyle Harrison, you had 5, but you got blown up. And then finally, Luis Ortiz, you only had 3. So, very, very underwhelming performance by some of my pitchers. But also, again, talked about Lane Thomas being cold and Jose Altuve being cold. That's not good. That's not good, especially getting closer to the playoffs. I want you to start ramping it up and not slowing it down. But I guess if you're going to hit the slip, the slope, the plateau, or the falling off the cliff, do it now before we hit September 2nd, because that's when the playoffs start, at least in most of my leagues. So please don't keep sucking. Now we're going to talk about one of the most disappointing teams this week. Russell My Jim Jams. I lost 1 category to 12 categories to 3 categories. There is no one in particular that did well. I was throttled in all categories except for holds. I won holds, so that was good. I was close in a few, but it's like you're playing horseshoes or hand grenades. Cool, I was close, but I didn't win, and I was only close in 2 or 3. So, in any case, again, overall bad outings from most of my pitchers. Giving up multiple earned runs, not just a 1, not the straight line. They were all squiggly lines, and not picking up wins. I think I had 7 or 8 losses this past week. Yeah, to say the least, I didn't win that category. Duh. My hitters. Not a lot of anything. I only had anyone double digits for RBIs. I think I only had 2 stolen bases this week. And again, it's because I have guys like Lane Thomas who are not performing well. Altuve not performing well. But it is what it is, man. It's frustrating. Let's get to the adds and drops. We added Ben Joyce, like we talked about, and also Tommy Pham. Tommy Pham is tearing it up and was also one of the guys I told you to add because he is on a new team. well, his old team, which is new right now. When he came to the league, he was with the Cardinals. He's back with the Cardinals. And now putting up better numbers. Multiple multi-hit games. I think he's hit a home run. Obviously some RBI, some runs, stuff like that. So definitely playing better, so I picked him up. And we dropped Jameson Taillon and Willie Castro. Now we're going to move to the South Harmon Institute of Technology, where this week was a win, 9 categories to 6 categories to 3 categories. This win leaves me at 146, 124, and 54, 7.5 games out of playoff contention. So I have 7.5 games, 8 games to make up in the next 3 weeks. Hopefully, I can do that. That would be wonderful if I'm able to. However, let's go ahead and talk about the guys who did well for me, because we're going to need them to continue doing well. Again, Matt Olson finally getting it going. 14 total bases, 3 home runs, 5 RBIs, and 5 walks. So he's getting on base not only via hits, but also walks, so that's very good. Brent Rooker coming up huge, 12 total bases, 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, so obviously more men on base for you. Pitching stats overall, really not great. Let's go back and talk about the people who were cold. Lane Thomas, again, cold. Patrick Bailey has really turned cold. He was hitting 100 for me this past week. I think he had 1 RBI. That's not good. Pitching-wise, talking about these mess stats, Tyler Phillips, Kyle Harrison, and Max Scherzer all had terrible outings. I think Scherzer only went 4 innings, and then Phillips and Harrison maybe went 3 1/3, I think, at the most. All giving up at least 4 runs, so those are the meh stats. Now, we are going to talk about the closest of all games this week, Peach Creek Purgatory. So, as you know, there are capped starts. In the Funky Junky Joker Monkeys League, it's 13. Peach Creek Purgatory, it's 12. Well, I got mixed up. And I had 12 starts in Funky Junky Joker Monkeys and 13 starts in Peach Creek Purgatory. So, I'm not sure how these points are added. So like there's a certain number of points, I guess, maybe that's added per extra start, and then there's more points on top of it. I don't know really, but in any case, that happened. And oh god, it made it so close. I was so relieved when I saw that we still won 922 to 920. I'm pretty sure that last day on Sunday, Brenton Doyle had -3 points or something like that. So, that would have been bad. But we're going to talk about some of the guys who obviously did well for me, and then some of the guys who did poorly for me. And I'm just thinking, holy cow, if you'd have done any worse, it would have been really bad. But let's talk about the guys who did well for me. Blake Snell, complete game, shutout, no-hitter, 81 points. Now, had he not had such a good game, I would not have won. So, thank you, Blake Snell. Then Ketel Marte, 75, and Eugenio Suarez with 66. Now, let me tell you, I started him, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. He had 41 points because he had like 2 homers, several RBIs, got on base, several times. So every hit, walk, total base, home run, so on and so forth. Every single one of those counts for a certain number of points. So Eugenio Suarez got me 41 points on that day. Now let's talk about the guys who did good enough for me to still win. But they did bad, let me tell you. First, Max Fried, you got me 7 points, man. Jameson Taillon, you got me 4. Luis Ortiz, you got me 1. Now it gets really dicey. Christian Walker, you ended up with -1 point. You also ended up going on the IL. Andrew Haney, you wound up with -2. Tyler Phillips, you wound up with -18. 18? I just think had he walked 2 more guys, given up 2 more hits, let 1 more run come in, I'd have been cooked. But you were bad, but not bad enough. So pretty happy about that. There was only one drop, that was Andrew Kittredge, because I had to bring Paul Blackburn off the IL, who actually did well for me. I probably should have started him over Tyler Phillips. I thought Tyler Phillips had a decent enough start. That didn't happen. But in any case, I am pumped because now I am 12-6 in this league. I am sitting pretty, I believe I'm in third place. So I think you have to be in the top 4. So I do have a little bit of cushion, but I don't want to use that cushion. I want to supplant myself as either 1 or 2. That'd be great, you know. But in any case, yes, several wins, a few losses, and some playoff hope, and then some playoff crash and burn and make me sad. Before we end this episode, let's talk about some of the people you might want to look to add. Pitching-wise, you have to look at Sean Manaea. Last year, he was one of my cheat codes because he was a bulk reliever. This year, he has come into the Mets rotation and been great. Over his last 6 starts, he's got 3 wins. And in those 6 starts, he has had highs of 11 strikeouts, 10 strikeouts, and 9 strikeouts. So he is getting the job done. Goes at least 5 innings most of the time. He did have a complete game shutout there. So definitely be looking at him. His next matchup is this week against the Mariners. Someone else you might want to look at. You know, he may not be the sexiest option, and he's going to be sitting at, you know, some points in time when it comes to platoon playing, but Jock Peterson, finding his groove again. I think 5 home runs in the last, 7 or 8 games, something like that. And he's not even a full-time player. So just platooning. Lots of guys in that outfield for Arizona, so definitely doing some work. Reliever-wise, it's not going to be sexy, but Victor Vodnik for the Rockies. If you're looking for saves, Vodnik, I think tonight he gave up a save. He, had a blown save. So that's not good as I talk him up. But in any case, could be someone you look at. The final pitcher I'm going to talk about, Tyler Mahle, was starting with the Reds. Then he went to the Twins. Tommy John surgery, recovering. Now he's with the Rangers. First game back after a year and some change against the Astros, the Asterix. And he pitched very well. That's who is going to be my sleeper for this late part of the year. I really think he's going to do great. He's going to come in, give that rotation a little bit of rest because they've been leaning heavily on some of the veterans, but also pushing some of the other guys. They have had to throw Leclerc in quite a bit. They have had to maybe push Haney to go a little more. John Gray has not been as consistent. So again, some of these guys, Eovaldi coming off a great year, may not be ready to repeat that. So Tyler Mahle coming off the IL, really giving him a boost. I'm really liking him. That's going to do it for the ads, the drops, the recaps, and everything. Hopefully we have 3 weeks of pleasant wins and playoff pushes left in us, and I'm looking forward not only to September because we get to the playoffs, but October as we welcome October baseball in. This is Jake Cake. I want to thank you for sharing part of your day with me.